The second verse. So the beginning few verses are actually paying homage to the lineage masters, how the teaching started. It started from Buddha, then passed on to Maitreya and Manjushri and so on. Okay, so having paid homage to Buddha, Shakyamuni, next verse is paying homage to the two pioneers. We call them two pioneers, Maitreya and Manjushri. You are the most excellent sons, spiritual sons of the such peerless teacher, the Buddha. You carry the burden of the enlightened activities of all conquerors. Conquerors means Buddhas. The Buddhas have conquered negative emotions and sufferings. So therefore they are called conquerors or victors. They did not go to any battlefield to kill people, but they conquered their own inner afflictive emotions. So you carry the burden of the enlightened. Burden, I don't know, it's a good word, but you carry the responsibility of enlightened activities of the Buddha, all the Buddha, not just Shakyamuni Buddha, all the Buddhas. And in countless realms you engage in ecstatic display of emanations. So Maitreya and Manjushri were not human beings, they were celestial beings. So they manifest themselves in various realms, display of emanations. I pay homage to you, O Maitreya and Manjushri. So Maitreya and Manjushri are said to be the one who carries the burden or the responsibility of the enlightened activities of all the Buddhas, because Maitreya is the one who carries the lineage, the vast lineage, the lineage of Lam Rim, the stages of the path, the vast. There are two. The teaching of the Buddha can be categorized into two: the vast and the profound. The vast means the lineage, the path, and the profound means shunyata. Of course, both of these teachers carry both the lineage, but it is Nagarjuna is said to be the one who is primarily responsible for disseminating the teaching of the shunyata, the profound, and Asanga. Maitreya is the one who carries the responsibility of the path, the vast stages of the path, and Manjushri is the one who carries the responsibilities of the wisdom side. Okay, that's the meaning. Then next verse 3, so difficult to fathom is the mother of all conquerors. Mother of all conquerors means the wisdom perfection sutra. Wisdom perfection, it is by studying the wisdom perfection that all the Buddhas are born. So therefore it is called mother of all Buddhas, all victors. So difficult to fathom. It's not easy to understand the depth of the teaching on shunyata. More difficult probably than quantum physics. Right? So that's what he's saying. So difficult to fathom is the mother of all conquerors, and you who unravel its content as it is are the jewel of the world. Because Nagarjuna, you are the one who is able to unravel the profound, the subtlety, because it is the Nagarjuna who really explained in detail the teaching of emptiness. If you read his books called Fundamental Wisdom, there are actually 6 different, write-ups by him, books by him. So that talks in detail the meaning of shunyata. So therefore it's called you who unravel its contents as it is, without fabrication, without denigration, as it is, are the jewels of the world. So therefore you are really the ornament of the world. So at that time in India, Nagarjuna was an Indian, Nag Arjun, just as Arjun was a skilled archer who could hit enemy, in various locations. So similarly, Nagarjuna was skilled in teaching the profound path. So therefore he is called also Nag Arjun. He is also called Nag Arjun because he was invited by the Nagas in their Naga realm to teach this profound meaning. So I pay homage to you. You are held with great fame in all 3 spheres of the world. I pay homage to you, O Nagarjuna and Asanga. So basically speaking, Nagarjuna is the one who is primarily responsible to teaching emptiness as taught by Manjushri, passed through Manjushri. And Asanga is the one who primarily takes care of the teaching coming from Maitreya, the paths other than Shunyata. This is not to say that he is not, talking about Shunyata, but everybody has different responsibility, right? So Maitreya and Asanga, they were men responsible for explaining the stages of the path, the conventional side. And Nagarjuna and Manjushri, they were more responsible for teaching Shunyata. So these great masters, they are really the jewel of the world. You are held with great fame in all three spheres of the world. Three spheres of the world means the world underground, the world on it, the world above. I pay homage to you, O Manju, or I pay homage to you, O Nagarjuna and Asanga. Paying homage means basically bowing down. Paying homage. Paying homage means physically paying homage, verbally paying homage, mentally paying homage. Out of which the most important way of paying homage is mental homage. मन से होना चाहिए, सिर्फ शब्द से नहीं. Verbally you can say something. Physically also you can demonstrate, but mentally nobody knows what you are thinking. So the real homage must be paid by the mind, not just by word and by physical activities. That's the meaning. ठीक है ना? I pay homage to you, O Nagarjuna and Asanga. Stemming from these two great charioteers, we can use the English word pioneers or charioteers, because the profound and the vast and the profound path is taught by Buddha, but then because of passage of time, things were not so clear. It has become, the teaching has become almost like a jungle. So these masters came and made the road. So they were therefore called charioteers or pioneers. Stemming from these two great charioteers with excellence are the two paths of the profound view. This is what I've been speaking about. The two paths. One is the profound view, which is taught by, which is primarily, the teaching of which is primarily the responsibility of Manjushri and Nagarjuna, and the vast conduct, which is the primary the teaching about which the primary responsibility goes to Maitreya and what? Maitreya and Asanga. Very good, very good. Are the two parts of the profound view and the vast conduct. Now when we talk about the 6 perfections, then first 5 perfections belong to the vast conduct, and the last one belongs to the wisdom conduct, the profound view. You are the custodian of the treasury of instructions encompassing all essential points taught by the Buddha. All essential points. There are many, but most important essential points. You are the custodian. Now this line is very moving. In those days, they were the custodians. Now today, we need to be the custodians. है ना? अभी इसको देखभाल करने वाला हम लोग होना चाहिए. Right? तो हम लोग कहाँ कर रहे हैं? वक्त कहाँ है हमारे पास? We have no time. We should be a custodian also. But we will say, I have no time, I am busy. I am busy. So some of you, हिंदी में बोलते हैं अगर कोई माइक लाल है तो आगे आके इसको संभालो. So when I read this, I really feel like, almost implying that some of you should be the custodian. Not all of you, but some of you must be the custodian. Meaning that at least you should grasp the meaning of this vast conduct and profound teaching. Right? As I said, the essence of Buddha's teaching is harmony of head and heart, dil or dimag ka santulan. Now today many intelligent people, they have head but no heart. They will make atom bombs. Intelligent, yes, they are. but no heart. So engage in making atom bombs, engage in corruption, don't care about other people, and use your that kind of intelligence is called corrupted intelligence. So with that corrupted intelligence, you can very well do corruption, which is really pathetic. Which is really pathetic. For the development of any country, any society, if the people are not upright, the leaders are constantly shying away their responsibility, constantly fooling people, telling lies. It's very sad. It's very sad because the majority of the people are ignorant, you see. They can be taken into any direction. So if the leader is not compassionate, people will suffer, you see. So therefore, we have big responsibility to study and to ensure that there is a harmonious development of head and heart. You should also, head means you should also have education, but that education must be supported by heart. And heart means compassion, loving kindness. These qualities must be the driving force of your knowledge, your education. And then, of course, unfortunately, these days, the very meaning of education is misunderstood. Education is now equal with literacy, reading, writing, mathematics. If you're good in reading, writing, mathematics, and get a small paper called BA, MA, PhD, small paper certificate, with that you get a job and earn 20,000, 30,000 a month, then ho gaya jindagi. That's not education. Education means people knowing how to deal with the real issues of life. Real education means people should know how to deal with real issues of life, when there is a conflict, when there is suffering, when there is a problem. Now today, the result of education is people have these certificates, but when they confront some problem, they are completely lost, they don't know how to deal with it. And we have seen this very clearly during the COVID-19 experience. Many people in the West committed suicide because they have nothing in their brain, no resources to pull out. That's the problem. And we are going to face that all the more. With the introduction of artificial intelligence and so forth, we will get more and more distracted. Right? So science and technology, I have always been saying, the solution will never come from science. Many people have a lot of hope in science. But it's very clear the solution will not come from science. The solution will also not come from religion. 100% sure. So long as the solution is to come from man himself or herself, who uses science and who uses religion. When people misuse politics, politics become dirty politics. When they misuse religion, dirty religion. When they misuse science, dirty science. Everything becomes pure or dirty depending upon the user. So we are in a very dangerous situation. Some so-called clever people manipulate you with this technological stuff, artificial intelligence, this, what you should see, what you should not see. They are deciding everything for us. They are spying you. Whatever you do with your phone, they know everything. And I know this very well. Because during my travel, I book a flight or book a hotel. Next time, I'll get notifications from another 20 hotels. Meaning that they know what I'm doing, you see. So we have to be very careful. Artificial intelligence. Recently, I got a book called Humanizing Artificial Intelligence. So meaning that whatever you are doing, it should be humanized. Human beings must be the center. And everything that we do must, at the end of the day, contribute towards well-being, long-lasting happiness of people. Otherwise, all these scientific products and technology, they are toys. When the small children are not listening, what the parents do? They throw the toys. Then they play with it. They get confused with it. That's it. That's exactly what is happening. Only few people. And you know very well, the world's resources is today enjoyed, used by only 11% of the so-called rich people. And they are playing with our lives, our life. We need to be cautious and be very careful. There may be good things, but we should be very, very cautious. है ना? है कि नहीं? So gradually they are training, giving education to the so-called training and education to people, so that you will be made like computer parts. The computer parts that is made in America or Switzerland, wherever, they are same. Wherever they are required, they will be sent there. So you are also trained in similar way. Oh, she is trained in this, go to America. She is trained in this, go to Germany. She is trained in this. You are more or less like computer parts. So when you are tossed around with the lure and the power of the money in this way, how are you going to enjoy your human dignity, freedom, things like that? So we need to be awake, alert, and conscious. So it is for that purpose we are studying such text. Right? You are the custodian of the treasury of instructions. So we must be the custodian of some of the important heritages that we have. Indian heritages, some of the meaningful, useful, relevant ones, not the stupid ones. आजकल टीवी में बार बार देखता है ना अंध भक्तों बोल के मीडिया में बहुत बोलता है नहीं, whoever we are, we should not just follow, so-called traditions and customs blindly. It's high time that we should use our brain and should be able to decide what is good, what is not good. There are things you can decide. There are things you are not so sure. So forget, for the time being, forget about those. Whether Buddha is there, God is there. You can exercise your intelligence, and when you have enough time, you can think it's your right. But don't waste your time there. अभी आपको क्या चाहिए? Right now, what do you want? How are you going to get your peace and happiness right now, in this very life? Then you talk about next life. And you are wasting this life, you live your life like a lost person, and then talk about future life. Then talk about nirvana. Then now talk about enlightenment. It's a little bit stupid. That's why Karl Marx said religion is opium. Huh? Religion is opium of the masses. He said this because at that time the Peruvian government was a Christian government. Right? And then he saw clearly that the religious leaders and the government political leaders, they were having nice time. They are on the higher pedestal, they are friends, supporting each other, helping each other, enjoying, having a very nice, luxurious time, and then making the people work, telling them, you perspire, you work very hard, next life you will go to heaven. So this is like opium, taking opium. When you take opium, no problem is solved, but you feel high, everything is okay. Religion will become an opium if you don't become pragmatic. In Buddhism, we talk about 3 spheres of phenomena: the manifest, the slightly hidden, completely hidden. Manifest means something that you can see, you can yourself see, you can yourself hear, you can yourself think. Use that as much as possible. Then when it comes to the second level, slightly hidden phenomena, which you can't directly observe with your senses, then question. There also you should question. Then there is a third level which you have no idea whether they are there or not. You can't directly observe, you can't question. There you have to listen to somebody, but that somebody must be a reliable person. This is the process. Hena, we are not sheep, led anywhere in any direction by some so-called stupid people, clever people, whatever they call it, Hena, that's what I think. So therefore some of these really time-tested teachings must be preserved. We must be the custodian of those. Because at the end of the day, right now you get very carried away by the marvels of the science and technology, and you will run after all this, right? Right? But gradually a day will come when you will really experience the problems of your life. Then this technology, your mobile phone will not solve your problem. Your fancy camera will not solve your problem. Any aspect of technology will not solve your problem. Then the only thing that will solve your problem is if you have these inner resources to pull out. I was reading one book where it is clearly mentioned that we are talking about the education process, what kind of education we should have, things like that, right? And we make some plans. But honestly speaking, this writer says, honestly speaking, you can't plan for a system of education in 2050 because you are totally unsure what will come in 2050. With such a speed, things are changing. You have no idea what kind of education you should have. And in fact, you will be shocked by that speed. You will be caught by that speed of change, and you will then suffer more from depression, loneliness, low self-esteem, all of which by which we are suffering. You will suffer more by these things. So at that time, the only thing that will maintain your sanity will be your inner resources. If you have wisdom to analyze things, if you know how to remain cool, if you know how to think properly, if you have love, compassion, things like that, inside you will be able to maintain your sanity. Otherwise you will not be able to maintain your sanity. So therefore, the point I'm making is, don't think that these teachings are irrelevant. These are like perennial philosophies, time-tested teachings. They will be very, very useful. In fact, inevitable at the time you encounter disaster. Right? दूसरा alternative नहीं है. Right? So therefore, you are the custodian of the treasury of instruction encompassing all essential points. Essential points. So in our case also, if you have no time to read all the great teachings, texts, books, so forth, and get the essence. This is the essence. This summary of Lam Rim talks about this essence. Of this path without error. Without error means if you want to be the custodian of all these essential points without error, then you need to study properly. Understand properly, understand precisely. Little knowledge is dangerous, as we say. Little knowledge se kam nahi karega. You need to understand the depth and vastness of this teaching properly, and to do that you need to listen to a qualified teacher, reliable qualified teacher. Okay? Of this path without error, I pay homage to you, to Dipamkara. Dipamkara Shirijan, he was a Bengali, very famous Bengali master who came to Tibet to teach. And so with this I want to recall the very profound spiritual connection between India and Tibet. I'm not saying this because now I'm staying in your home, but it was there 1,000 years back. Thousands of Indian teachers used to come there, among which Dipamkar Shirijana or Atisha and Shanta Rakshita, Kamalashila, they were stalwarts, topmost scholars in India. They visited Tibet wrote text there. For example, Atisha, when the Tibetan translators came, studied at his foot, and then at the king's, there's a long story. We have no time to tell the long story, but when the king told the translators to try to bring Atisha, then Atisha was one of the topmost scholar in that university. So the head of the university said, no, he's our gem. How can you take our gem? Then the Tibetan translators, paid homage to his feet and cried, It's a very, very moving story. Then Atisha was highly realized. He consulted Tara Devi, did almost like a divination, he did consultation. Then Tara Devi said, you should go. It will be very useful in Tibet. Span of your life will be a little bit shortened. Otherwise you will be very successful. So then they actually cheated that head of the university. They said, we are not going to Tibet, we are going for a pilgrimage in some Indian holy places. And that circle of that pilgrimage become bigger and bigger, reach Tibet. It's a very moving story like that, right? So similarly, Shantarakshita, Kamalashila and so forth. So to recall them, I also made a statue of all of these three in my library. Yeah, to recall their kindness. And in the Tibetan monasteries, we study all their write-ups, works, even to this day. So now it is the duty, responsibility of our Indian brothers, sisters to come forward and take the baton back. Really, I seriously feel, because it is, and I challenge my Indian brother, sister by saying whether Buddha was a Tibetan or Indian. Of course, Indian. Now Tibetans probably know more about Buddha. As we study all his talks, teachings, all his 108 volumes by the Buddha, all translated and kept in Tibetan. So the Tibetans, the Ladakhis, the Himalayan regions, we have become the custodians. Right? So in the man kind of Indian community also, we should really think about recruiting younger Indian boys and girls to study in depth. There are some, but not much, given the size of Indian. Because now in the West, there's so much after Buddhism. It's flourishing in many Western countries, but not so much. Jitna hona chahiye, nahi ho raha yahan. Wo hona chahiye, bilkul hona chahiye. This is not to, develop the population of Buddhism, which I am not concerned, which is not important. The important thing is the wisdom. The non-sectarian wisdom. If you don't hesitate in using the word secular. See, talking about all sentient beings. That's the core teaching of the Buddha, all mother sentient beings. At a time when the world is talking about globalization, now only, that also globalization means only human beings. That also primarily marketing, business. They are not talking about globalization because of compassion and loving kindness, things like that. And 2,500 years back, Buddha was talking about all mother sentient beings, including mosquito, rats and cats and whatever, all living sentient beings. And why shouldn't we promote this kind of concept in India on a global stage? Yes, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and some of us are as much as possible represent not only Tibetan but the Indian side also. The Indian government knows that, and some of the leaders also told us we are very grateful you are representing Indian tradition in the world platform. Some of them have told me also like that. But it should be much, much more. The reason is if you are able to come up with this kind of Buddhist philosophy, which talks about harmony, which talks about well-being of all sentient beings. If we are able to gradually, produce kind of ripple effect in the society where people are more compassionate, more caring, less liars, less cheaters, less deceivers, less corruption. I can't imagine where this country will be. Intelligence is here in this country. Population is here in this country. सब कुछ है. Nagarjuna from India. Asanga from India. Shantideva from India. Buddha from India. What else you want? Dalai Lama also you can count as Indian. ठीक है ना? So now if we don't really make effort in preserving, promoting this philosophy, it's a great loss. Then we'll end up following the blind faith. Custom है, tradition है, बोल कर गया, बोल के. That's outdated now, right? So this is what I felt by reading this line. So Atisha was the one who was really the confluence, one who possessed both this lineage of the profound and the vast conduct, right? And Atisha was the one who first wrote this text on Lam Rim, which is called Changchu Lamji Doma, the path, Bodhi path Pardipa, the lamb of the path to enlightenment. He wrote this. Based on that, then Tsongkhapa wrote all these other Lam Rim texts. Right? Okay? So, how many of you know about Atisha, Dipamkara Shirijan? You see? We need to read his life history, the books he has written, right? And translate into different Indian languages. So many things can be done. You are the eyes to see all the myriad collections of scriptures. To the fortunate ones traveling to freedom, you illuminate the excellent path. You do this through skillful deed, start forth by compassion. I pay respectful homage to you, O all my spiritual masters. Next, after Atisha, he pays homage to all the spiritual teachers with which he is directly, indirectly related. Because these great, really qualified teachers are really your eye to see this myriad, countless collections of scriptures. Even just the Buddha's teaching, there are 108 volumes. And then the Indian commentaries written by Nagarjuna, Shantideva and so forth, there are 225 volumes. Which is there in India today. In my own library, I have all these collections in Tibetan. अब हिंदी में नहीं है, अंग्रेजी में कोई लोग अनुवाद कर रहा है, हिंदी में नहीं है ना, और दूसरा इंडियन भाषा में नहीं है. ये सब करना है हम लोगों को. प्रोजेक्ट बहुत बड़ा है, करने के लिए बहुत कुछ कर सकता है. You are the eyes to see all the myriad collections of scriptures. To the fortunate ones traveling to freedom, to the fortunate ones. So therefore those of us who are listening to this teaching, we are supposed to be the fortunate ones. The unfortunate ones are, I'm joking, I should not say this. So we are the fortunate ones, really fortunate. Because you will know that I was fortunate having gained access to such teaching on a day when you confront a problem, then you will recall it. Not now. When you are happy, you forget Buddha, everything. Paisa se sab kuch chalega. With money, everything will be okay. But when you really encounter problem, difficulty, when your father dies, mother dies, brother dies, sister dies, when there is a bankruptcy, so many things can happen. Your leg breaks. Things like that. Then you are bound, then you are compelled to remember the great teachings. And I have by my eye seen many famous Hollywood, Bollywood, especially Bollywood, because His Holiness Dalai Lama lives in India. Many famous Bollywood actresses, they come to see His Holiness when they have a problem. Army generals also, when they retire, they come to see His Holiness. A little bit exaggeration maybe from my side, but basically it is like that, And we have a saying in Tibetan, Thang demon to dulu Allah Thala, Gao Tokpo Dibdula Jimpema. That means when you are traveling on a very smooth path, big area, big ground, then you start singing, ah la la, you start singing. But when you cross through a cliff, where there's a risk to fall down, then you remember, oh, Guru Pema Sambhava, oh, Buddha. This is human nature. So nothing will come when you cry at the last moment. You see? So right from the beginning, you should be familiar with all these practices. So to the fortunate ones, traveling to freedom. Why we are listening to these teachings? We are supposed to traveling to freedom. So that means, are you not free right now? Yes, to some extent we are free. We can say we live in a free country, things like that. But in the true sense of the term, we are not free because we are controlled by negative emotions. We are controlled by our enemies, the negative emotions inside us. And you are sleeping with these negative emotions. You are sleeping with your enemy. How about that? To some extent, right? So therefore, things are not that okay. I'm not trying to unnecessarily frighten you, but this is the truth, right? So therefore, freedom, you illuminate the excellent path. This excellent path leading to Buddhahood is illuminated, explained by these great teachers. And you do this through skillful deeds. And when these great teachers, when they give the teaching, they do it through skillful means, depending upon the mental level of the students. And start forth by compassion, motivated by compassion, not motivated by dollar. There is this story of one teacher, Tibetan teacher, who said, I've given teaching to thousands of students, but I never expected anything from them. I did not expect even a thank you from them. And the reason he said was, I did not expect even a thank you from them because there is nobody who is not suffering. So I'm only concerned about how to help them reduce their suffering a little bit. That was my concern, that was my motivation. So that is the mark of a true teacher, great teacher. Otherwise these days you see so many self-proclaimed teachers whose main job is, Kal maine bola tha na, Ram naam japna, paraimal apna, So now most of the so-called saints, teachers, they are like business people, very rich people, I'm not saying all the teachers should be beggars, but what I'm saying is your main focus should be how to help them reduce their suffering, not to get money from them. Therefore, I pay respectful homage to you, all my spiritual mentors. You are the crowning jewels among all the learned ones of this world. Your banner of fame flutter vibrantly amongst the sentient beings. O Nagarjuna and Asanga, from you flow in an excellent steady stream this instruction of the stages of the path to enlightenment. We have already studied this, more or less same, right? How the stages of the path, lineage comes through them. Now verse 7 talks about the special features of these stages of the path. Since it fulfills all the wishes of beings without exception, it is the king of kings among all quintessential instructions. Since it gathers into it thousands of excellent rivers of treatises, it is as well the ocean of most glorious, well-uttered insights. Since it fulfills the wishes of all sentient beings. What are the wishes of all sentient beings? The wishes of all sentient beings is to gain temporary happiness and long-term happiness, to gain nirvana, to gain enlightenment. So we are not talking about like their wishes is to get money and buy a mobile phone, not like that. Since it fulfills all the wishes of beings, without exception, there is no discrimination. It's the king of kings among all essential instructions. There are so many instructions, but among all these instructions, really like king of kings. Because these stages of the path text, they are short and they contain all the important essential points of all the teachings of the Buddha. So very easy to practice, right? If you understand this, you will get the heart of the Buddha's teaching, right? Since it gathers into it thousands of excellent rivers of treatises, it is as well the ocean of most glorious, well-uttered insight. So this is like a very well-fashioned, necklace, ready to wear. Since it gathers, collects all the important essential teachings, thousands of excellent river, if there's a stream of river, they'll gather together at one area. So like that, all the various traditions, teachings, important points of the Buddha's teaching, they come together in this Lam Rim teaching. It is as well the ocean of most glorious, well-uttered insights. It's really like ocean. Which means it is short, it has all the essential points, but because of this, that you don't think it will be too easy. In a way, it is easy. It is simplified for you, but that doesn't mean it will be so easy to digest. Right? It is as well the ocean of most glorious, well-uttered insights. It helps to recognize all teachings to be free of contradictions. Now Buddha has given so many teachings. If you don't have this complete understanding, then you might think some of these teachings are simply for philosophical discussion. Some of these teachings are for practice. So he's saying, no, that's not the case. All of the Buddha's teachings are for practice. So there is no contradiction. It helps recognize all teachings to be free of contradictions. It helps donning of all scriptures as speech instructions. It helps to find easily the enlightened intention of the conquerors. It helps the donning of all scriptures as speech instructions. So they are all meant for practice. Right? And it helps to find easily the enlightened intention, the main intention, as we already discussed about having all the essential points. So the main intention is there. Intention of the Buddha is there. So you will be able to easily, if you don't have much time, then you should go through this, scan through this. Oh, this is what he said. This is how to find a teacher. This is how to cultivate bodhicitta. This is how to realize shunyata. This is how to cultivate patience and so forth. It's all there. It helps to find easily the enlightened intention of the conquerors. It helps also to guard against the abyss of grave negative deeds. So some of these teachings are for practice, some are not useful, not for practice. If you do like that, if you discriminate the teaching, then you will fall into the abyss of negative deeds. Because all the Buddha's teachings are to be adopted and nothing is to be discarded. Even the interpretative teachings are to be practiced, not to be discarded. ठीक है ना? Therefore, this most excellent instruction that is taught after by numerous fortunate ones like the learned ones of India and Tibet, this instruction of the stages of the path of persons of three capacities, what intelligent person is there whose mind is not captured by it? So that means, therefore this most excellent instruction that is sought after by numerous fortunate ones, like the learned ones of India and Tibet, the real like jewels of India and Tibet, these people devoted their time to study and understand these teachings. And then gradually, from Atisha and so forth, these are presented as the stages of the path. And within these stages of the path is categorized into three sections. The stages of the path related to, common to the small individual, the stages of the path common to the middling individual, and the stages of the path of the great individual. So when you next time you study Lam Rim, when we read the shorter text, I will explain it to you clearly, what section belongs to what. As I said, when Buddha gave the teaching, he gave two levels of teaching: interpretative teaching and ultimate teaching. Right? So similarly, here also there are three kinds of people. The first kind of person is, there are those people who, by adopting any means, they seek happiness in this very samsara. जैसे कि हम लोग कर रहा है. By any means, I want to have some kind of happiness and peace in this very world. So that is small individual. Now there are others who see the faults, problems, disadvantages of the samsara, and then they are fed up with that, disgusted with it, and they aspire to get nirvana, liberation. This is a middling individual. Then there are third category of people who say, even if I get liberated, so what? What about my other mother sentient beings? It is shame on my part to be happy just to get personal liberation. I must work for all these sentient beings. So then they develop bodhicitta, aspire to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. So that belongs to the great individual. So it is categorized in this way. Right? The instructions of the stages of the path of persons of three capacities. What intelligent person is there whose mind is not captured by it? So if you are really intelligent, the test of intelligence, if you are really intelligent, you should be attracted by these teachings. If you are not attracted by these teachings, but you call yourself very intelligent in computer and other things, I respect that, but in the true sense of the term, you are not intelligent, because you are confused only with the worldly things. You are not talking about well-being of all sentient beings. You are not talking about well-being for many lives to come. You get only confused with this very present life. So you are, in that sense, you are not intelligent. So if you are intelligent, get attracted to this kind of teachings. Now, even if you are super intelligent, but with the first initial exposure, you may not understand anything. Then you might think, oh, what is there to be attracted? There's nothing much. But if you explore a little bit more, go a little bit deeper, then you will be astounded. Wah, kya baat kaha. And I had several encounters like that. Once, one of my Tibetan friends who lives in Norway called me and said, there are two lady journalists who are coming to Dharamsala who wants to interview you, Geshe La. Do you have time? I said, yes, I have time. They came, they interviewed me, and after the interview, when they were packing their camera and things like that, they were chatting. I could hear, they were chatting each other. What a fantastic idea, How do these people get this kind of excellent idea? They were like dumbfounded. Not because I'm intelligent. I'm just imitating and speaking what Buddha taught, what His Holiness said. Right? And at one time, one of my own cousin, he was in army. He did not pay much attention in study and things like that. He was in army, good sportsman, things like that. So he came to stay with me for a few days. Then somehow, because he's now a little bit grown up, he showed some interest in Dharma. He said, Uncle, can you please teach me a little bit about this, the Buddha Dharma? Okay, sit down. We studied a little bit about this text called 37 Bodhisattva Practices. We did not have many classes, just few days maybe. So I taught him few lines. He said, he said, how does people get such great ideas? Really? So you need to spend a little bit of time and think a little bit more. If you just gloss, quickly run away, then kya hai, kuch bhi nahi hai isme to. Isse to behtar hai hamara jo roz ka zindagi. Hum log yahi sochega na. So if you pay a little bit attention, like for example, the topic saying that the real enemy is inside, the negative emotions. Just think about that. Really amazing. So that's why he's saying. Okay. The concise instruction distilled the essence of all scriptures, ready for you to eat. Even if you can't study very much, even through reciting it or listening to it only once, the benefits of teaching the Dharma, listening to it and so on, will be accrued. Since such webs of merit are bound to be gathered, contemplate its meaning. So that means even if you are not able to go into deep, But at least go through it, read through it quickly, or listen it to once as you are doing right now. You are collecting a lot of merit. So therefore, in the Tibetan monasteries, many of us have memorize all these texts and recite. Right? Very special. Then the root of creating well the auspicious conditions for all the excellences of this and future lives is to rely properly with effort, both in thought and action, upon the sublime spiritual mentor who reveals the path. Now, if you are attracted, somebody who is attracted to this teaching, what you need to do is, you need to listen about this teaching from a qualified teacher. Because these teachings are profound and vast. You will not be able to, you will get some idea by reading, there are good explanations, translations are there, you will get some idea, but you will not be able to get the real feeling unless you hear from somebody who has that knowledge and, more importantly, a little bit experience. The flavor will be different. So that's what he's saying. The root of creating well the auspicious conditions. Auspicious say inam ko sab. Auspicious. I am not so happy with this translation because the Tibetan word itself has many meanings. Tendel. Tendel means interdependent origination. Changsa tendel, then means marriage, auspicious marriage ceremony. So it's not very easy to translate. For me, with my immediate thinking, I would translate as something like the root of creating, beneficial connection, something like that. The root of making beneficial connection with spiritual practice and so forth, for all the excellences of this and future lives, making proper connection for the betterment of this and future lives is to rely properly with effort, both in thought and action, upon the sublime spiritual mentor who reveals the path, who will show you the path. Right? So, if you want to really make this great connection for the well-being of this life and for many lives to come, find a teacher, proper qualified teacher. Not anybody who says he is a guru who is a teacher, because even if you use the Hindi word guru, gu means ignorance, ru means remover. Real guru is one who can help you remove your ignorance, lessen your ignorance. Isko bolte hai guru. And guru also has the connotation of heaviness, meaning somebody who is heavily laden with qualities, knowledges. Find such a teacher. Don't go after a teacher who is like advertising all the time. Hai na? Udhar jao. And then once you found such a teacher, rely properly. Properly means you should, number one, have this genuine interest to study Dharma and also trust that person after you have examined, not before. After you have examined, when you find that teacher proper, then you should properly relate to him. That means you should have faith. Faith means not blind faith. Faith means a trust. When you have that trust, it will make your mind clear. When your mind is clear, you become receptive. You can learn so many things. That's the reason. But if you just go there, simply to listen, there are many people who just come and ask questions, listen, after that they forget their teacher, completely forget. Mujhe jo milna tha, wo mil gaya, bas ab jarurat kya hai? What I want to get, I got from this person, now forget about it. Then you break the relationship. ऐसा नहीं होता है, ऐसे काम नहीं चलता है. Things doesn't work like that. है ना? So it's important to properly relate to that teacher. And when you properly relate to teacher, you will be the one who will get the benefit. When you open up, you become receptive. You receive all the so-called blessings or whatever. Blessing not necessarily from the Guru, but because of your mental attitude, you receive the blessing. After all, as I said, everything is created primarily by your mind, right? So, to properly rely on the teacher with effort. Now, properly rely on the teacher doesn't mean that you go to him, pay respect, pay homage to him, bring some gifts, then don't do your homework. The most, if you, a clear indication that you are really listening to the teacher means that you study and practice the Dharma. A really qualified teacher will be happy if you are practicing what he has taught you. If it is a teacher who is happy with you, if you give him some gifts and doesn't care about whether you are studying or not studying, then clear indication the teacher is wrong. So the teacher should have, when you select the teacher, the teacher should have at least many qualities, but at least 3 qualities. One, the teacher should be compassionate, who really cares about you. And second, he should have more knowledge than you, of course, otherwise he can't teach. Third, he should be somebody who is ready to spend some time with you, undergo some hardship. So it's not that easy, but look for that. So what is important in today's life is almost like marriage, without properly judging, analyzing, thinking, शक्ल सूरत देख के मैरिज करके तो फिर गड़बड़ होता है ना हम लोग, right? Without judgment, quickly, you marry, then after a few days divorce. Similarly with the teachers also. In the first few initial days, you try to go after the teacher everywhere he goes. My teacher. And then with the passage of time, you distance yourself. With that, you won't get anything. So in the initial stage, no need to accept anybody as your teacher. Just listen to their teaching. If it is useful, of course, thank him. That's human protocol. But there's no need to accept that person as your teacher. I am not becoming your teacher right now. You're listening to me. Right? So you listen to that person as a lecture. Then gradually when you find that person reliable, in the text it says you should examine the teacher 12 years, but that is, I think, too long. But you should take some time, ask other people also, take some time, and then when you feel confident, then, relate to that person as your teacher. Then follow him properly. Properly means doing the practice. It is to rely properly with effort, both in thought and action. सिर्फ बोलने के लिए नहीं, in action में भी करना है आपने. Upon the sublime spiritual mentor who reveals the path. Seeing this, we should never forsake him even at the cost of. Once you made this connection, then you should not, if possible, don't give him up even at the cost of your life. For example, like your parents or brothers or somebody who you love, you will not forsake that person even at the cost of life. So similarly, it should be like that. And please him with the offering of implementing the word. See, यहाँ लिखा है ना. And please him with the offering of $, नहीं लिखा है ना. It's not written here. And please him with there are many offerings. Offering of material gifts is also there. But the most important offering to a qualified teacher is implementing his teaching, his words. Now today we are living in unfortunate time. The teacher is always looking for gifts. And the students are not bringing any gifts. The time is like that. So actually what happened is, it's not saying that you should bring gifts, but the student side, they should be ready. The teacher side, they should not accept it. They should not at least looking for it. Things like that. So the most important point I'm saying is offering of implementing his words. Just like parents, good parents, they will be happy when the children are doing very good in their studies, not so much about whether children are bringing some gifts or not. Similar. I, a yogi, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do like. This is what Tsongkhapa is saying. Having given this teaching, he said, I am a yogi. I'm not just talking and teaching. I've lived this. I practiced this. I, yogi who practice, this is very powerful. I, yogi, have practiced in this manner, and you who aspire the liberation too should do likewise. Very powerful. Right? With confidence, he is saying that I, as a yogi, practice this, got a lot of benefit, you should also therefore practice it. So this is about how to find a spiritual teacher, qualified spiritual teacher. Okay, we have not much time to explain detail, Otherwise, just on this topic, we can spend 2-3 days. What kind of teacher, qualification of the teacher should be there and so forth. Verse number 13, this life of leisure is even more precious than a wish-granting jewel. That I have found such an existence is only this once, so hard to find, yet like a flash of lightning, it is easy to vanish. Contemplating this situation, it is vital to realize that all mundane, something is missing. Contemplating this situation, it is vital to realize all mundane pursuits. Oh, like it's down. Yeah. Like the empty grain husk is floating in the winds. And that we must extract the essence of human existence. I, a yogi, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire the liberation too should do likewise. Now this means this life of leisure, this human life that you have obtained today, is something that's very difficult to find. Leisure means you have time. So according to this master is saying you have leisure means you have time. So don't say I have no time, I am busy. He says you have time. You have to make time because this is so important. And unfortunately, for modern people like us, we have time for everything else except spiritual practice. Wrong priority. So this life of leisure is even more precious. This human life is more precious than wish-granting jewel. More precious than precious gem. Sona, chandi, jo bhi hai, zebrat, jo bhi hai. More precious. Because the gold and other precious jewels, costly jewels you might have, but with these precious jewels you can buy something, right? You can construct a building, things like that, but it will not be able to help you remove your sufferings and cultivate positive qualities. But this human life has this capacity to make miracles. Properly used, we have such an amazing intelligence and brain that we can really make miracles. Miracles doesn't mean flying or opening a third eye, which is not so important because we have other technological means to fly and birds have been flying all the time, so even if we are fly, that's not a big deal. The big deal is if you are able to use this human intelligence to alleviate, reduce sufferings of all sentient beings or sufferings of other people. That's actually miracle. If you are able to reduce your negative emotion, that is a miracle. If you used to be a very hot-tempered, angry person, then with this practice, if you are able to reduce your anger a little bit, that is a miracle. And that miracle will really bring peace and happiness, stability in your life. And that is possible. We have this intelligence. And these days I have been saying that we should really focus with oneself and think properly about some of the very special features of a human being. And one very special feature is human intelligence, the capacity to judge between what is right and what is wrong. The second feature is language. And this language is for dialogue, for negotiation. If there is a problem, if there is a misunderstanding, don't yell, don't shout, but sit down and solve it through dialogue, through negotiation. Don't jump upon each other. Don't try to cut each other's throat. If we do that, then we are more like tigers and lions, not human beings. Tigers and lions, if they have a problem, they can't say, let us sit down and have a dialogue and discuss the problem. They don't have that language. So the only thing they can do is pounce upon each other and try to tear each other into parts. But we are not like that. We are doing like that, which is shameful. As human beings, we have this very sophisticated language. So sit down and talk. Kya baat hai bhai? Itna gussa kyun hai? Why you are so angry? Tell me, how can I help you? We can solve it. That's why people like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, even the Chinese government brought so much atrocity and torture and killing. Still he is talking, let us have dialogue. Let us have negotiation. You see? So this concept of dialogue must be taught in the classroom. If there is misunderstanding among the students, then let the students solve that problem through talking, not teaching each other. Right? And then, as I have been repeatedly saying, look at your human, other features like hands, long hands, good for hugging, not for eating. So many things can be said. The nice teeth, also good for smiling. Things like that. The very feature of human life has all these amazing qualities. So we should study more about human being itself. This life of leisure is even more precious than a wish-granting jewel, that we have found such an existence only this once, only today. And according to science, this is your birth is by chance. According to science, they say your birth is by chance. Some of us are very worried and fearful about the death. Then some of these thinkers, they say, why you should be so worried about death? You should be happy that you are alive here, you are born here. Your being born here is a miracle, it's by chance. The meeting of your father and mother and coming together of many causes and conditions was a chance. Many other sentient beings missed that chance, they are not here. You are the lucky one, selected. So enjoy that. Be happy about that, right? So that I found such an excellent existence is only this once. So don't take for granted that you will be born again and again. You can do all these stupid, crazy things. Then you will die, again born as a human being. There is no guarantee, according to Buddhism. Whether you will be born higher or lower depends upon what you do now. And according to Darwin, what does he say? The evolution is always better and better. What does he say? Yes, some of this we can examine and explore, but I'm explaining the Buddhist concept, you see. Not about next life. Even now, if your way of thinking is bad, you have a human body, but you are basically an animal. You are living here in this world, but actually you are in the hell. Hell is created by our thinking, by our way of living. हम लोग बोलता है ना बार-बार. This is something that we always use when you are fighting with somebody. यहाँ तो hell है. There is a hell here. It's absolutely true. So it's your mind, okay? And so therefore, so hard to find, not easy. Some of these clever scientists, they did an experiment how to make a human being. They collected, they studied human body, then oxygen, carbon dioxide, whatever, all these chemical things like that, all this that is here, they collected. They were able to collect almost everything that by which human body is made, and it costed like not more than, I don't remember the exact number, it costed not more than much less than $10,000 or something like that. I read that book long time back, so at that time the price is maybe a little bit less, but anyway, it's really not that costly. You can assemble everything. But just having this assemblage, you can't create a human being. Right? So hard to find. So hard to find, but having found one, if it is going to last very, very long, then this is another thing. But so hard to find, yet like a flash of lightning, it is easy to vanish. You are here today, tomorrow you may be gone. हम लोग बोलते हैं ना बार बार, कल यहाँ था बेचारा, और टैक्सी एक्सीडेंट हो गया, मर गया. He was here attending the teaching, but he had a car accident and died. He had a heart attack and died. Things like that. Anything can happen. So this is again not unnecessarily frightening you. It is possible. Why should we talk about all this? We should talk about this because right now is the opportunity to do the good things. So whatever happens later, you don't have to regret. Now don't have to regret means, I'm not saying that कई लोग बोलता है ना 4 दिन की चांदनी है, 4 दिन की जिंदगी है, खाओ पियो मौज उड़ाओ बोलता है ना, वो नहीं बोल रहा मैं. I'm not saying, I'm not promoting materialism. I'm not saying that nobody knows how long you are going to live, so just enjoy and do whatever you think. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, this life is very difficult to find. Having found this, use this, make this purpose of human life meaningful. And then, how long is human life? If you are somebody who is going to live 100 years, half of which you spend in sleeping, 50 years to वहाँ गया, and then remaining for food, for clothing, for running up and down, for sleeping, for gossiping. So somebody counted it, and then he said, you have hardly 5 years to do good things. Something like that. Anyway, the time is very limited. Right? But we do have time. Like a flash of lightning, it is easy to vanish. Contemplating this situation, it is vital to realize that all worldly pursuits, some of these worldly pursuits you have to do for food, for clothing and so forth you have to do, but there are many other things which is not necessary for you to do, but you are just doing it. The so-called socializing, the so-called this, that, bhagwas, bodhe. There are so many things which are really, like as he says, are like the empty grain husk is floating in the winds. Not floating or throwing the husk in the wind, If there is a grain inside, then to separate the husk from the grain, you throw it in the wind. If there's no grain, just throwing the husk in the wind doesn't make any sense. Right? Like the empty grain husk is floating in the winds, and that we must extract. Therefore, this is the point he's making. Therefore, we must extract the essence of human existence. What is the essence of human existence? Do everything that is good. Don't do anything that is bad. Discipline your mind. This is my teaching. This is what the Buddha said. Do all those things that benefit others, not harm others. That's the essence of human life. So do that. And when you do that, then you will die. At the time when you die, you have no regret. You're so happy. I played my part. Otherwise you will be like Alexander the Great, who looted so many places, and then he realized he was dying. He called one of his generals to bring all the sacks of golds that he has looted and put all of this in front of him. And then he did like this, he died. Look, I have all these sacks of gold coins, I cannot take even one. It is said he died like that. Whether he did that or not, but it is true that we will all go empty-handed. We came into this world, came with nothing. When we go, we'll go with nothing. When we came into this world, at least we came with our human body. But when you go, I jokingly tell people there is a tight security check at that time. When you die, they'll say you must be hiding something in your body. Leave this body also behind. Body also left behind. That's the truth. Right? All right. Now some questions. Oh, so I, a yogi, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation, too should do likewise. Okay?
In the beginning you said that less knowledge is dangerous. Less knowledge is dangerous.
Less knowledge is dangerous.
Even the more knowledge is also dangerous.
Yes, true, you are right.
So I have my own understanding what sort of knowledge we should pursue.
Very good.
The question is over.
Yeah. Very good. What's conduct means the 6 perfections. There are a lot of varieties of practice, stages of the path, compassion, love, bodhicitta, vast subject.
Are you a happy soul?
Huh?
Are you a happy soul?
What?
Are you a happy soul?
Am I happy? I think so. Can you say this in the microphone?
Are you a happy soul?
Soul, I don't believe in soul. I'm a happy person, yes.
Happy person?
Yes.
But you just said with so much death having around and so much.
So what? So what?
How can one be happy with so much of death around?
That's the point. You should be happy in all difficult situations to solve the problem.
One can't be happy in such situations.
Because your being unhappy is not the solution. Your being unhappy is not the solution. Your being happy is the solution. Some time back, because I talk about all this, there was a probably Chinese origin lady. A group came from America. So I gave a short talk. So I again spoke about these subjects. So after the talk was over, one lady just came chasing me saying, Geshe Lhakdor, are you really happy? Just as you are doubtful, she was also doubtful. I said, yes, I'm happy. Why? Are you not alone? Yes, I said, I'm alone. Still you are happy? Yes. Why? Because I have a place to sleep, something to eat. There's no war going on here in Dharamsala. There's no flood, things like that. So I'm happy in that sense, personally speaking. Yeah.
So much of poverty around, there's so much of
Yeah, but then,
dead people. How can we be happy in such circumstances?
that's what I'm saying. If there's so many problems around, if you feel miserable, feel sad, is that the solution?
No, silence, karma is the solution.
Huh?
Silence and karma is the solution.
Silence and karma. So, that has nothing to do with me. Silence and karma will solve it. Why should I be unhappy? If that is the case, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay, next question.
You have not answered my question.
Huh? You don't need answer because you know already.
Your view also.
My view. My view, first of all, I don't remember I said less knowledge is dangerous. No, I didn't say. I didn't say less knowledge. I didn't say less knowledge is dangerous. I said little knowledge is dangerous. Yeah, please. Yes.
ना इसीलिए तो रिकॉर्ड करना पड़ता है ना. Thank you. My name is Surinder Singh.
Yeah.
So here is a statement that I read. A friend of mine said, and then there will be question. The statement is that there is inherent violence in being alive. You can't completely avoid it, and obviously you can't be completely violent all the time. So where do you draw a line where the inherent violence is okay and when it's not okay?
Inherent violence.
The inherent violence, I mean, the very fact that someone is
No.
alive is inherently violent act.
Now this, we should be careful about the usage of this word, inherent. In Buddhism, we use the word saying that there's no inherent existence. So from that violence, there is no inherent violence. But I'm sure you're not saying that. What you are saying is, by birth, there is some kind of violence. Many people, scientists also, as I said yesterday, they say that anger, jealousy, hatred, these are with us, and these are necessary, there's nothing negative about it. They say things like that. But the question is, even if it is there or not, even if it is there, is it really good for you? Is it something that you should continue to nurture? That's the question. If it is something that is not good to nurture for you or for the society, then we need to find a way, look for the second way, whether it can be reduced. Then through that way we find, yes, it can be reduced. There are many examples of very hot-tempered people, but then at the end of their life, when they grow a little bit very old, just by the life's burden and experiences, they mellow down. Even without receiving any teaching, they become more gentle, you see. Yeah.
Good evening. Thank you so much, sir, for the second day. Sir, I have noted down 5 key words.
Yes.
And I want what's your take on this? Meaningful life. What's meaningful life?
Happiness.
Happiness.
Yeah. Happiness, if you want to extend a little bit, then happiness means happiness that you get by helping others, by not harming others. If you elaborate
Do you mean
it.
that happiness is an internal phenomena?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. And teaching emptiness.
Yeah. So what?
Teaching emptiness. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
As I mentioned earlier, emptiness is not equal to nothingness. Emptiness means empty of inherent independent existence. This needs to be told because even though there is no independent existence, but our ignorant mind thinks there is independent existence.
No, sir, I am asking about teaching emptiness. Teaching
Emptiness to others.
Yes.
Teaching emptiness to others, you need to judge the people.
I mean, is it possible to teach someone not to be greedy?
So therefore normally they say if you want to teach emptiness, don't start right away from emptiness, but start from dependent origination. Things are interconnected, interdependent. Therefore there is no inherent existence. Therefore emptiness, like that. Because right from directly if you teach emptiness, they might fall into nihilism. Might get frightened thinking, oh, I am not here, you know.
Yes. Okay, thank you. And suffering.
Suffering is an experience that you don't want. Those experiences that you don't want, and you experience it, that's suffering.
Is your meaning self-suffering, others, and...
Whatever. It is something that we don't want.
Yes, and sir, what is bad and good? Bad.
Well, and good means something that directly, indirectly helps others, brings happiness and peace to others. Bad is bad, or something negative is those.
Sir, it is different from one person to another, one culture to another. That's why I asked.
Yes, I have heard this many times, but pay attention to what I said.
Thank you.
You mentioned that
celebrities and Bollywood actors often choose to come to Dalai Lama only when they face sufferings.
Yes, not everybody, but sometimes, as I said,
Yeah, mostly.
many a times.
So again, I'm still ideating on the same question
Yeah.
that you addressed yesterday. My
Yeah.
question was about suffering.
Yeah.
Do you look at suffering as a mercy and blessing? Because I realize that it's only after suffering, pain and agony that we treat the path to enlightenment.
Yeah, true. But in Buddhism, we don't believe in a creator God. So who is giving the
No,
blessing?
it's not about God.
Yeah.
It's because it's
So
only
blessing and mercy means somebody giving you the blessing. Somebody at whose mercy you are experiencing that. You can't
I mean,
say
it's
that.
only suffering that pushed Buddha.
Suffering itself can be seen as a blessing. Suffering, it can be seen as a blessing if it is transformative in that sense, but you cannot say this is a blessing given by somebody.
No, like in the case of Buddha, it was only suffering that pushed him to find for cessation of suffering.
Yeah. So therefore we say suffering is introduction to happiness. That sense.
Yeah, you said it's a stepping stone.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks, Yeshla, for sharing your very kind wisdom with everybody. I have a small thing that, and I believe you are the right one who can answer it. So, in physical world, we see, in terms of matter, this cause and effect is directly, it can be observed. There's a cause and there's an impact.
Yes.
And in terms of our day-to-day life, the actions that we do and the karma that we create, so it's not that much what we see, what we hear that your karma binds you. And does it really works that way, that your action creates a certain element around you and you have to be accountable for the elements you have created through your actions? And the teaching goes in the East, some of the teaching goes and says that the elements, the karma binds you for many lives and so on. So does it?
Yeah, for example, when we are we are all listening to this teaching very carefully, then you should just come in and shout, "What are you doing, you stupid bunch of people?" This is your action. And then imagine what kind of reaction you will get. That's the action and result. So it's like that. And another example that I can give is like the electric wire and the current that flows inside that wire. Electric wire we can see, but the current flowing through the electricity we don't see. But because of that, if you think there's nothing there, touch the live wire, you'll feel it. So there are many invisible, like in science we call it energies, They're very much there. Very much there. Therefore, what we call as the word vibration. What is vibration? Even somebody without saying, some people just because you are in the vicinity of that person, you feel some kind of sense of security, happiness, without knowing that person. For the first time you are meeting that person. In some cases you are meeting that same person for the first time, you feel a little bit uneasy, That person may have not done anything, said anything, but still, this is called vibration. Buddha Bhagavan ki udar ye banata hai na halo. There's energy field, And you can feel that energy field with some really good practitioners. Yeah, like that. So it affects, yes. So one last serve.
Are shunyata and emptiness the same thing?
Same thing.
Will you be expanding on this at some
Yes,
stage?
I will be.
Okay.
I will be, yes.
Geshe, thank you very much. Our deep gratitude to you, Geshe, for offering us your precious time, for sharing these very valuable teachings on the Lam Rim with all of us, and also for constantly reminding us to focus on nurturing both wisdom and method and practice as we receive these teachings from you. So we're deeply grateful to you, Geshe Lhakdor. Thank you. And to all our friends here today, it's been such a joy and an honor to share this experience together of receiving these very valuable teachings from Geshe Lhakdor in community. So thank you very much for your presence, for your motivation to share your time and energy with us, and we really look forward to welcoming you over the next 3 days. So thank you and have a wonderful night.
नहीं आने से नका लगा दूंगा नका हम लोग जब मैं भारत में आया था शुरू में तो हम लोग रोड वर्कर्स था तो बोलता कि नहीं आया तो नका लगा दूंगा I remember that word naka. Thank you. Good night.